Hey everybody, it's ModelcarNick, and thank you for tuning in today. I have a pretty cool car to show you guys around. This is none other than the Bugatti Veyron. This is the Super Sport model, and just for a little bit of a comparison, I have another Bugatti by Autoart. The one we're going to be going over today is by Minichamps. I do have another video posted on the Autoart Veyron if you're specifically interested in this model, but the focus today is going to be going on the Minichamps model. So, like I said, this is the Grand Sport or the Super Sport model. So it has the updated headlights compared to the older first generation Veyron. And honestly, that's pretty much all the differences that I can really make out just looking at it from side by side. Obviously, these two have different styles of wheels on them. So this one kind of has a lot more spokes than the older Veyron. So kind of interesting design. So let's kind of get into it. It's finished in this really stunning kind of a gloss white color. As you can see, there's no real like metallic or pearlescent flake underneath this paint. So it's kind of just a straight white finish, but it looks really good. It's also kind of more of a cream white. It's not as bright white as some of these other cars that I have. It's just a little bit more, kind of an eggshell tone, but it still looks really good. But yeah, besides that, let's get into it. So looking up here at the front of the model, obviously we have the Bugatti horseshoe style grille, and this grille looks like it's just kind of plastic. It doesn't really have any mesh features that are real. You can't see anything behind there, which is kind of a pro of the Autoart Veyron, is that they use actual mesh grills. I know it's kind of hard to see, but just the quality on the Autoart one is a little bit better. But besides that, what I like about the newer ones is this updated headlight design. As you can see, the daytime running lights kind of come through the top, and then there's also kind of another running light down here below. But kind of another feature that I'm just now noticing on the the Super Sport model is that there is kind of another extra line running across this front grille and a little bit of a lower lip right here. And as you can see, the older style one, it's just kind of these singular open vents down there and no front lip on the model. So kind of interesting difference. Both of these actually do open, so I'll go ahead and pop the hood for you so you can see what's under there. It comes up pretty easily, and one thing that I'm going to give Minichamps some props for here is for actually using these kind of like struts to open up the hood. Usually Minichamps doesn't do that in any of their models, so it is kind of cool to see them do that on this one. So I think they did a really good job there. The interior of this is finished in carpet, so it feels really good. You can't really put much in there because this is a model car, obviously, but if you wanted to hide maybe a few pennies in there, you probably could. So it looks really good. That's what it looks like with it open. So not too bad. Nothing really else to note in the front. There is kind of like another little bit of a different design element. As you can see, there's like this extra line that kind of runs through the front of the car. And then you can see on the older model, it does not have that. So kind of an interesting little facelift detail, but really that's honestly the big difference that I'm noticing between these two models. There's actually one other huge difference, but I'll get into that in a little bit. So we'll go to the wheels next, and as you can see, just a really beautiful design. They are finished in this kind of a matte black paint. You have the Autoart Bugatti logo finished there in the middle, and then behind there we have what looks to be drilled rotors finished with the matte black brake calipers behind there as well that do have the Bugatti script written down the side. So pretty good details on the wheels. Nothing to complain about there. The mirrors themselves kind of have this little chrome line going down the side of it. They don't really look too special or anything, but they are on there and they don't look too bad. So nothing really to complain about. Here's kind of what the first generation Veyron mirrors look like. Pretty much the same. But to continue through the side profile, there is kind of this air relief vent that comes through the side right here. I can't really notice anything specific behind there. It looks like there's a little bit of a mesh, or it might just be an opening hole. But the cool thing is that this side skirt right here is finished in carbon fiber, as you can see, and it looks really good. I think they did an excellent job with that. Moving on, the door handle is also finished in this kind of gloss black finish, and it looks pretty decent. One good feature that I think the Autoart model has over the Minichamps, though, is again with the vents down here on the side. They use kind of just this fake mesh down there for that side air vent, while on the Autoart version, it looks like they do have a real mesh grill, but you can't see anything behind there, unfortunately. But just the difference in quality is just a little bit better on the Autoart model. And just speaking of differences, so I paid about $140 for this Minichamps version of the Veyron, and I paid, I think, $160 for the first generation Autoart Veyron. So, you know, not too much of a price difference there. I know that some of these, or I get models for a pretty decent price, or, you know, I usually don't like paying retail for them. I'll just wait till I find a good deal, and this was the case for both of these models. So I would say, you know, if you're going to pay what these go for now, I would assume these are probably around the $170 range. I wouldn't really recommend paying any more for the Minichamps version, especially, you know, specs not like this. I think this is one of the better specs that Minichamps came out with this Veyron. It's pretty hard to get a white version of the Veyron just fully in this color. So, but to continue on with that, gas cap right here on the side with the EB logo, and it looks like they kind of have this drilling around the gas cap, so that looks really good. You'll notice one big difference between this Super Sport and the first generation is these air intakes. So these air intakes look like just kind of knacker ducts right here at the top, and they are finished in just kind of a matte black plastic. And then if you look at the first generation Veyron, we have these huge kind of air scoops at the back of the model. So that is kind of an interesting difference to note. This kind of has a flatter back, and then this one has these kind of two air intakes back there. So that is one key feature to note the difference of. Not a big deal. I think they kind of both look cool in their own respect, and it's kind of nice to have both of them side by side together. But moving on here, here is kind of the trunk lid right here, and both of these have opening trunk decks, so I'll show you what they both look like. We are missing one thing back here, and I'll give you a minute to guess what it is, and it's the EB logo on the back of this model. It did fall off, and I believe it actually also fell off, ironically, of the other Veyron that I have. So if you're getting a Veyron, make sure it has the logos on the back of it. As you can see, it kind of still has the residue left behind. So kind of unfortunate that these are, you know, kind of easily breakable, but that is something to be aware of. So here's kind of the back though. Looks like we have a dual exhaust. It looks pretty good. A bunch of mesh grills sitting up above that. Looks to be kind of like a real mesh. Can't really tell. Maybe fake. I think it's definitely fake. So that is another thing to note. I think this Autoart version has real mesh grills. As you can see some details behind there. So that is kind of cool. They both kind of incorporate the quad taillight design, so they both look pretty much identical. Nothing really different there to note. One key difference though between the Minichamps version and the Autoart is the spoilers. As you can see, this Minichamps version, you can just see straight down into it in the exhaust box, while the Autoart version has kind of this secondary spoiler to it, which kind of folds down when you put the spoiler back down, but this one doesn't even come with it. So that is kind of a, you know, mistake that Minichamps made by not incorporating the secondary spoiler, but I don't really think it affects the model too much, so not a huge killer. But this model has like kind of a, you know, spoiler that if it'll stay down, this is what it looks like with it down. So kind of a flat design. I think it looks better with it up, but it has this little button right under here, as you can see, and if you just press that, then the spoiler will go flying up, and that's what happens. So to get this trunk lid off though, or this rear deck lid, which I'm thinking now, does it even come off? Because I can't get it off. Okay, maybe it doesn't come off. I thought it did, which is interesting. So that is definitely one drawback against the Autoart version is that you don't even have a opening trunk lid. So this is what it probably would look like if you know, you were able to take off the trunk lid on the Minichamps version, so you'd be able to see more of the details. As you can see, Autoart did a really good job with the engine bay on that model. So unfortunate, but yeah, you cannot open up this engine bay. I didn't know that. So you learn something new every day, and that's kind of an unfortunate thing to learn. One thing though is that this spoiler does pivot up and down, as you can see. You can leave it in the flat position. You can leave it downwards if you really wanted to, but it's supposed to be just sitting up like this, I believe. So that's kind of what it looks like from this angle. Now let's go ahead and move on to the interior and see if we can spot anything in there that's worth noting. Kind of a tough door to open. But yeah, kind of a matte black interior. As you can see, carbon fiber on the door sill, which looks really lovely, and kind of an unusual finish on the interior. Everything is just black. Carbon fiber on the center console right there, which looks absolutely superb. As you can see, they kind of have the clock dial sitting right up there, and then just everything else. So it looks pretty good. I'll show you the driver's side, but here's the seat. As you can see, there's kind of like some chrome around the bucket seats back there, and you can see the seat belt. Center console has some diamond stitching down there. So honestly, really good job, I think, with this interior. Let me see if the carpet, there is carpet on that interior, so that is something to note. Go ahead and close this door back up, and we can take a look at the driver's side. Let's see. All right. So pretty much the same thing on the doors, carbon fiber, and then there is the driving zone. So not really a bunch of chrome in the interior, which is kind of an interesting choice. I usually think these kind of Bugattis are more meant to be like luxurious vehicles. Obviously this one's pretty sporty. One thing I'm just now seeing is carbon fiber on the back of the seats. So that is a really neat feature to note. So honestly, a pretty good interior. And while we're here, we might as well just take a look at this Autoart interior just to compare really quickly. So I'll go ahead and move this model a little bit back. So here's what the Autoart one looks like. As you can see, no carbon fiber on the door, which is interesting, but we have kind of some chrome on the door sills and some more stainless steel on the center console. Let's see, does it have carbon fiber back seats? And it does look like it does have it. So, you know, kind of a little bit different interiors. Obviously the Super Sport model over here on the right is more meant for like track performances compared to kind of just the first generation Veyron when it initially released. So, you know, that might be a reason for the differences. I think one thing I forgot to show you though real quick is this engine bay. So that's kind of all you can see. There's the V16 or the W16 engine under there, but you can't really make out too much detail, unfortunately. But it is in there, so that is kind of cool to see through that little gap right there. So overall, I think one more thing I want to note is just the weight between these two models. I mean, this isn't a light model by any stretch of the imagination. It feels pretty good in the hand, but if you pick up this model right after it, I mean, this probably weighs, you know, an extra pound, I'm not even gonna lie, over this you know, Minichamps model. So if weight is a factor of quality, go with the Autoart one. But overall, I really like the spec on this car. You know, Autoart made a similar spec. It was all white with a black kind of C going around it, so that one was probably the better spec, but this is half the price as that one. So if you really want to get a good deal on a good looking Veyron, I think this is probably the best you could do, you know, short of getting a really good spec Autoart version one for the same price, which would be a tall order. You know, overall though, if I had to give this model a score 1 out of 10, I'd probably give it an 8. I think just because, you know, no opening engine bay is kind of a real letdown, especially when Autoart did a good job with their engine bay. It's basically the same car. Them forgetting to do kind of the secondary rear spoiler that the Autoart model has down there on this Super Sport was also kind of a bit of a letdown. But besides that, I think this car actually has a fair amount of carbon fiber work to it. Just, you know, a really cool looking car. I wouldn't blame anyone for picking up one of these Minichamps ones over an Autoart one, just if you wanted this particular spec. So that would be a reason to get this one over the Autoart. But besides that, a really cool model. One last thing I want to show you guys is the box. So here it is, just a pretty plain box that has the Bugatti on it, and it has kind of all some other designs for different Minichamps models that they've done in the past. Some history about the Veyron back here. Yeah, there's a picture of it on the side, and some more of its features back there. So really cool model. And I think if you guys liked it, you should pick one up if you're interested. But yeah, I think this is going to be the end of the video. If you made it this far, I mean, 16 minutes right now, I think you got to like and you got to subscribe. So I appreciate you guys, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Bye.